Hello, all my beautiful crafters. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Danielle's Rambling on Rustic Berry Needleworks. I have so much to share with you guys today. I am so excited. It is Sunday, April 26th. I had to look at my phone because I keep thinking it's the 25th. I don't know how we got to the end of April. So it is the 26th and I have a lot of stuff to show you. So I hope you brought a beverage, a snack, and a sleeping bag because we might just be spending the night together. So I want to start by just giving you a quick update on things that I have been doing. It's been a little while since I've been here. I think the end of January was the last time I did a video. And if you notice behind me, I have my long arm all set up now. So I don't think that I've done a video with the long arm. I am so excited about it. It was not really on my list of things I was going to buy this year. I already had the machine, but I didn't have the frame or the computer. But my local quilt shop, she gave me such a good deal on it that I just couldn't say no. So I was taking some time to really learn the machine. I quilted all of my unfinished quilt tops, and I didn't get a ton of stitching done because I've spent a lot of time learning the machine and just learning about long arm quilting and things, but I still have a lot of stuff to show you. So I just want to give you a quick overview of the way that this video will go because I know not all of you are quilters, you're only interested in cross stitch, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to put all the cross stitch stuff at the beginning of the video. And then we're going to talk about quilts. Well, actually, we're going to talk about cross stitch. Then I'm going to show you my new project bags that I'm going to be listing today. Project bags and project folios. I've got a bunch of them. So I'm going to show you those, and then I'm going to talk about quilts, and then I am going to talk about a couple books that I've read and listened to on audio. Real quick, just a few. I don't read nearly as much as I wish I did. And then I've got a little bit of papercraft at the end, which I haven't had papercraft in forever. So that's exciting. I kind of reignited a little spark in the papercraft world. So the past couple months, I've been very busy, very busy. I went with my friend Tammy and did some shop hops for local quilt shops in Florida. So the entire state of Florida has their shop hop for March and April, and you go around to each store that's in the magazine. You buy this magazine, it's like $14 or $15. And inside they have a map and tells you about each store and their hours and things like that. They have free pattern and they have specific fabric for the shop hop, which it's Florida. I guess this was a representation. It was a Santa Claus with a flamingo and a palm tree holding an alligator. So I don't know, that was the big panel. And then some shops made their version of a quilt out of it. And so you could see that on display. But at each shop, you get a little sticker for your magazine, and the state is broken into sections. And Florida is a very big state. If you go from the panhandle, the upper left corner, all the way down to the Keys, I don't even know how long that would take. Probably like 16, 18 hours, if not more. Actually, yeah, I would say probably like 16, 18 hours, somewhere in there. I don't know, but it's not a small state. So it's hard to get all of the state done, but they break it up into sections. And then if you complete a section, you can mail it in and be entered to win a prize. We weren't in it for the prizes. We were just doing it for fun. And we came across some new quilt shops that we had never been to before, and Tammy is a new quilter, so it was really exciting for her because there's a lot of stuff out there that she hasn't seen. So it was exciting to see her so excited about getting quilting, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we also went to a retreat up in outside of Atlanta. I forget the name of the town, but it's outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and there's a farmhouse, and this guy has the farmhouse, and there's some farm animals out there, and he does all the cooking and everything, and you just bring your crafts and you set up shop in the remodeled garage, and it's just it was really nice. We were there for a few days, and I didn't. It was funny when I was telling Tammy I was going to do the floss tube. She said, "Oh, don't forget to tell them about the retreat and what you worked on." And I stopped and I went, I think I talked the whole time. I'm not sure that I actually got anything done. I don't even remember. I remember I brought some stuff, and I unpacked it and then I packed it again. But I'm pretty sure the only thing I worked on was talking. So we had a really, really good time with that. We're going to probably do another retreat in November and in Alabama. So I'm really excited about that. I've never been to Alabama before. So I love to visit new states. So then we were talking the other day and I said somehow Utah came up about how they have so many like cross stitch and quilt shops and things out there, and jokingly we were like, yeah, we should go there. And later on that night, Tammy sends me a text and she said, well, I just happened to look just in case, and she had all of the shops just mapped out on this route. She's so good at planning stuff like that. And I said, okay, let's do it. So it was, I think it was only a half of a joke. So maybe we'll plan a trip to Utah and visit the cross stitch shops and the quilt shops out there. And it was only like this one line through the state, so I can't even imagine what the rest of the state it has out there. But she is so good at mapping that stuff out. She mapped out a bunch of quilt shops on our way up to the retreat, so we stopped along the way, which really broke up the ride, so that was really nice too. Okay, so enough of that. I'll throw some garden update into at the end in case you're interested in that, because I know a lot of you now are getting into your gardening season, so you actually care, versus when you're snowed in and I'm over here talking about all my tomatoes. So I made this notebook to try to keep me on track during these floss tubes, because inevitably every time I turn my video off, I say, oh, I forgot to mention this, or I forgot to show this. So I have a little notebook, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I might make some of these and put them in my shop, because I think that they're really fun. I have notebooks like this all over the house for all different things, and I just grab them and write things down. And what I really like about them is that they just have a little notebook from Walmart in there, and they're like 98 cents or something. So when this is done, you just slide it out and you slide a new one in. So I really, really like that. So I have a lot of notebooks that, once you're done with them, you're done, and then you don't want to throw it out because it's a cute notebook. But this, you just toss it out and put a brand new one in. Okay, so I did have a finish, a big finish for the past few months for cross stitch, and you can see up here I now have all of my prim cross stitches done. So that was my big finish. I finished 3 since the last, I think maybe I had half of one done, but that's all that I had left. So I'm really excited that I no longer have blank boards up there. And I would have pulled them down, but they're kind of hard for me to get to. So I'm really excited about those. Those were fun. They definitely were fun. I like that they're separated and hanging up there. I think it's a good use of that space, because it's kind of like dead space up there. So I'm happy that those are done. And the reason I call it a big finish is because there were 12 of them, and I've been working on them since they came out. I would do one, and then I wouldn't do any for a couple months, and finally that series is done. So I call that a big finish because the series is done. So let's talk about Wipgo. Are any of you guys doing Wipgo? I've never done Wipgo before, but there are Facebook groups and there's a YouTube channel. I knew I was gonna forget this because in my last video I talked about it and I completely forgot her name. That's why I need to write things down. But I wanted to tell you, in case you want to go to her YouTube channel and see, Jessie Marie Does Stuff. That's the name of her YouTube channel. And what it is it's a bingo type fashion, let's call it that, but whip go. So you do your whips or however you want it. So I have all my not all my whips. I have whips only on here. So this is what happened. My goal was that if I did this, every month she calls 2 numbers. So for that month, so for January she called, and it's a little electronic thing, like she does computerized. So she called, I think number 2, and I think it was 5, and so those were my prim stitches. So that was my goal, was just to work on it for like 20 minutes a day, and for maybe like 20 days out of the month. So if I could do that, I was just touching them, you know, things that maybe I hadn't touched in a long time. But all of these are on my monthly goals too, so I'm gonna touch them at some point during the year, but I got a little bit of bonus time with them also. So what I did last month I was a little overwhelmed. I don't know what happened. I really don't even have anything written down that I accomplished majorly last month. So as far as stitching went. So I got a little overwhelmed, and the reason I wanted to do Wipgo was because I don't want all these whips. You guys saw my whip parade. I don't want all of these whips. I want to have less whips. They take up less space because I don't want everything kitted, and I just don't want a huge stack of project bags. And so along with that thinking, what I did was I took my current Wipgo that helps me get rid of whips, and I tossed it out the window, and I said, the heck with this. I'm going to do a whole Wipgo of all new starts, because, you know, that would reduce the amount of whips that I have. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. So I did. I took my, I printed a whole new one. I tossed this one, and I filled this out with all new projects that I wanted to start. And it was so exciting. And then I got really, really overwhelmed. And I started 2 new projects. And then I said, I'm not going to do this. I can't do this. The object for me was to get rid of some of my whips, to finish my whips. But what I did in the meantime was I kitted up a bunch of stuff that I wanted to start. So I'm going to show you that stuff at the end. But that's why I have all that stuff kitted, because I had this crazy idea. Well, after, I don't know, maybe a week, I said, I can't do this. I can't even have this thing sitting around with all these new projects. Totally overwhelmed. So I tossed that. Reprinted a new board. Thank goodness I had taken a picture and sent it to my friend Tammy, because she's also doing Wipgo. And I was able to copy my original Wipgo back onto here and start from there. So it does put a little bit of a dent. I have not been doing 20 minutes a day for 20 days, but there are things that I have touched that I wouldn't have touched. So it is helping, and I'm hoping that for May I do a better job with it. But this is not meant to be stressful. This is meant to just be something fun to do, so I don't let it stress me out. I'm just putting it there as a guide in place. Like, oh, that's fun. I get to work on this one. Instead of just my monthly ones, I can pull this out. And a couple times, actually, the one that's been called has been on my monthly goals. So that's been nice also. So anyway, I have the ones for April I don't have checked off on here yet, nor March. So, and the the May numbers were just called yesterday or the day before. So I've got to update this a little bit with some highlighting, and let's get into the projects, and I will show you. I'm going to show you. Oh yeah, I did write on the back of here. So for March, there were 2 that I started, and I will show you them here in a minute. Okay, so for my plans for May, actually, let me show you what my plans were. So for January, what I had was, I had Truckin' Along. I had this whole series, and I only have, I think, 5 of them done, and I would love to finish the whole series this year. And Tammy said to me, you know, you don't have to finish the series. Like, there's no Stitching with the Housewives Police that's going to come if you don't finish it. And that was very liberating to me. And I was like, you're so right. I don't have to finish it. But I'm going to finish the ones that I started. Maybe I won't finish the ones, maybe I won't start the ones that I haven't started yet. I don't know. But I'm pretty far on this one, so I think I am going to finish it. But I don't decorate with snowmen in Florida. It just doesn't fit. When I lived up north, I did decorate with snowmen in the winter, and I loved it. Okay, so that was my January work in progress, and that was also a double. So that was called on my Wipgo board. It was already on my monthly, and I did one of the prims up there. I actually think I did 2 of the prims in January. So next is February. So in February, I did the other prim. I think I finished all the prim by the end of February. So this one, I'm going to show you. This was from a magazine, but I have to cover it because otherwise you'll see the chart down there. And this was one of those challenges. I had mentioned this before about using your magazines, patterns in the magazines, and I did quite a few little pieces in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine because of that fun challenge that they were doing, and I forget who was doing it. I think somebody left me a comment and told me who it was, and I completely forget, but that was back during COVID, so I don't know if they're still doing it. And honestly, I don't want to find out because I'll put it on my to-do list and then I'll have more stuff to do. So, but it was fun and it got me using the my magazines. This was another one that was on my list here, and this was a fat quarter shop. I don't know if it was Stitch. Yeah, I guess it was Stitch Quarterly because I have the matching bag here. And I think this was one of the very first ones that they did. So it's, I was tempted to just stop at the bird and then just put the bird in a little frame or something, because honestly, I don't really care for it. It's not going to fit my decor. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Oh, you know what this was? It was a little, here it is. It was a mystery. So like this was the first section, and then I think it was like on Fridays, they would give you the next section. And I'm pretty sure this was a COVID thing too, which I got back into stitching right before COVID. So when they started doing all of these things, I was all in. I was buying all of it. I was like, that's so fun. Let's do mysteries. And then my style completely changed when I started to find like Brendan Gervais, and you know, I was like, that's my style. So some of these things I'm having a hard time finishing. This is with sulky thread, and it is 12 weight, so you can use 12 weight sulky thread for cross stitching, and you would use 1 strand equivalent to 2 strands of DMC. And I do like using sulky. The downfall is that I loop in the back. I don't make knots, and so when you use the sulky, since you're using 1 thread, you have to either do like a tack down stitch or hold your tail and make sure that you're catching it. So that's the only thing that I don't like about that. But I did get to touch that a little bit. So I worked on the house, and I changed the house to yellow because I felt like that gray house that they had was like Darth Vader, and I don't even know who Darth Vader is, but I just looked at it like I know, like a movie, what, Star Wars, I think. I know some of you are cringing right now. I'm sorry, I've never seen it. But I don't know, something about it looked like her, so I changed it to yellow. Okay, so March was a bust. Like I said, let me look at my calendar and see what I did. A bust for cross stitching. I did get 7 or 8 quilt tops done of mine on my long arm. I also long armed 5 for my friend Kim. Well, I think it was 4 for my friend Kim and 1 for Kim's mom and 1 for my friend Tammy. So I've been busy. Plus, I've long armed a lot of material to make bags and things like that. So I've been very busy on that, not very busy with the needle and thread. So March, yeah, March, no, I didn't really get anything done as far as cross stitching goes. So April wasn't that much better, but hey, we still got a couple days left, right? Maybe I can make a little dent here. So for April, I had on my Wipgo board, Country Cottage Needleworks. For some reason, I did all of these monthly cottages, and for some reason I went through and didn't have October or September done. I don't know. I thought for sure I finished the series, and I keep all the finished ones in the same spot, so I have no idea. But anyhow, I started on October. I know that was September I just showed you, but I don't have the October picture. I only have the pattern. So I started on October. These actually don't take too long, but that was all that I got done. So at least, like I said, I got a little dent. I put a little dent in it, and that's more than the dent that it had before. This one is a Prairie Schooler, and it's called Two Witches, and it's just a symmetrical pattern on Aida, and it's with silks, and they're brown, not black, and I don't know how I feel about that, but that's kind of fun because, again, I think I had just like this little corner here done, and I haven't touched this thing in years. I don't even remember when I started it. I have it written down in my book, but because back then I used to keep track of everything. But so see what I mean? Like having it on my monthly goals and having it on Wipgo just gets you to be able to touch it. Even if I don't finish it, I was able to put a dent in it. So I'm happy that I was able to touch that. And that was Wipgo. That wasn't on my monthly. So that will come up on my monthly at some point during the year, hopefully. Because I think I did have all of my whips on my monthly. This was another one, very bizarre. I did hands-on design year of celebration, and I did all of these, but I didn't. So for some reason, I'm missing August and October. I intentionally didn't do September because September is like school, and first of all, I don't have school-age kids anymore. My kids are grown, and our kids don't go back to school. I lived in the South for what, like almost 15 years, 13, 14, yeah, 14 years now. So our kids don't go back to school in September. They go back to school in August. Now, when I lived in the North, our kids went back to school after Labor Day. So it was always in September. So I don't decorate for back to school stuff. I'm not happy about back to school because the traffic gets really intense. I think that kids should have more of a summer, but the parents are like, no, no, no. But anyhow, so I need to work on August this month. That is on my, oh, are we into? Yes, so we're into the May plans. Sorry, this is why I have it written down. So we have the May plans, so it's going to be August. So hopefully I'll finish that. I didn't start it yet. So hopefully I will finish that. And then I also have this one. So this one is funny. I was picking this one up randomly over the past couple months, even though it wasn't on any of my lists. I just had this itch to finish it and to work on it, and this is called Liberty Lean, and I changed the colors on it, and I started this one years ago, but I don't have that much left. I have that house, and then I have a little bit of, here's the picture. So I have the house left, and I have that tree, and then I have like the bunting up on top. So I can definitely get this done in May if I give myself some time to get it done, and I will be really happy about that because I don't mind stitching the patriotic all year right now because it's a big deal with the 250th anniversary. So I don't feel like it's only a 4th of July thing this year. I feel like I can do it all year round and be excited about it. So that one I'm excited to have on my list. And I don't know where that one went. Oh, I think I put it in here. I'm like, I don't know where that is. It's sitting here on my lap. So this was a project folio that I made. And I loved this fabric. I thought it was so cool. I love junk journaling and like, oh, why can't I think of the name? But anyway, like the watercolor and like out of the lines and stuff like that. So I really liked this fabric. I thought it was so cute. And I said, I'm not keeping them. I don't make them for myself, because what happens is I have enough that I have mistakes on that I can't sell. So, or I probably could at a discount, because I know some of you guys would like, I'll take it for $10 off. You know, I don't mind that, but I don't want to sell things like that unless I were to sell it in person and I can show you this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong. Anyhow, I put the snap on this one and it was so crooked, and I'm like, why is that so crooked? Well, I put the snap in the wrong spot, so I had to go back and put another snap in, because you can't take these out. If you can, but then you're gonna have a big hole and then it's gonna shred and whatever else. So I ended up putting another snap right below it, and I said, well, I guess I will, or I guess right above it. I said, well, I guess I'll keep this one for myself. But I wasn't mad, because I really liked the fabric anyhow. So the pattern that is on my monthly for May is called Memorial Day, and this is by Hands On Design, and this is another one with sulky. This is the first time that I used sulky thread, and this was again during that time when we were all isolated. And I remember doing so much stitching sitting outside, and I was taking pictures and, you know, keeping like a record on my Instagram. And I had posted a picture and said it was my first time using sulkies and that I really, really liked them. And wouldn't you know that Kathy from Hands On Design actually commented on my post. And that day I was like, the day she commented and the day Tim Holtz commented, I was so, so excited. I was like fangirling completely. So hopefully I will get that done this month, or at least put a dent in it. I'm okay with not getting that one completely done, but I will at least touch it and put a dent in it. So that is all that I have for my plans for May. Oh no. I lied. Okay. So my Wipgo is 15 and 18 this month. So 15 is Primrose Cottage, and this one is Toil and Trouble. Is that how you say it? I don't even know. Like, I've never even heard anybody say that word out loud. Toil and Trouble. So I started this one last year. I don't know what happened, but one day, it was like a Saturday afternoon, and I said, I just have an itch to start something new. And I just yanked this out and sat there for like an hour and a half and stitched it. And then I put it in a bag to never come out again. I don't know. It was a very random day. So that's what I have done so far. I'm doing it on Aida, trying to get rid of some of my Aida. I've been doing it on smaller projects, and I don't have a problem with Aida for things like that. But I have a lot of Aida, because, you know, that's what we all start out with usually. So that is on my Wipgo, and then 18 was the other, and that is a duplicate. That's the Year of Celebrations by Hands On Design, the August, and that was already on my monthly. So that's what I mean. I love when quite a few times now that's been duplicated like that. So I'm really excited when that happens, because then I don't feel like, oh, now I have all these extra projects. I feel like, oh, now I have all this extra time to work on them. All right, so that is all of my plans going forward. Now I'm going to tell you something that's very devastating to me. And I know I'm going to be judged. And it's okay. So I have German Shepherds. I've always had German Shepherds. I've always had German Shepherds that have problems. And whether they're health problems or somebody got them and they couldn't take care of them, or they were too much. My husband and I have been doing this. When I say my husband and I, he's just been a willing participant. I've been the active participant. But somehow they come into our lives, and we have Scooby, and he is 2, and we got him at 10 months old from someone who, it was a friend, it was my friend, my good friend, her friend that she works with, her daughter got him, and they had never had a dog before, and they got a shepherd, and German shepherds are amazing dogs, but he's a working line German shepherd, which is a lot different than your show line German shepherd. And we've had both. And he was 10 months old, and just way, they bit off way more than they could chew with him, because if you don't give a working line dog a job, they will create their own job, and I can guarantee you, you will not like the job that they create. And so they just, they both worked. They had young kids. He was just way too much. They bit off way more than they could chew, and they recognized that. So I do give them credit for that, because some people wouldn't recognize that, and then you don't know what happens to the dog at that point. So, they were looking to rehome him, and we ended up saying, okay, we'll take him. We weren't looking for a dog. We didn't want another dog, but we flew up to New Jersey and then rented a car and drove him back home. And so that was a year and a half ago, and he's turned out to be an amazing dog. He still needs some work, but he is very motivated to be trained. He's very well behaved now. He was a lot of work, though. I mean, a lot. Like, I was spending like 40 hours a week training and just getting him into a routine and things like that. And now he's a really good dog. So in the past couple months, I've been leaving him out when my husband is home. He gets crated if I'm not home. But my husband will be home, working from home. He's in his office, and I'll leave him out, and I'll run my errands or whatever, and I'll be gone for an hour, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most. So I had left him out one morning, and he was kind of like following me through the laundry room, like he wanted to come with me to run my errands, and that's not a thing, because he is not good in the car. So against my better judgment, I gave him a treat, and I left. I snuck out, and something told me you should probably crate him today, and I did not crate him. And then I said, why didn't you trust your judgment? Because I was very fortunate to get, I probably should have started with this. I got a copy of Lady of the Flag. Hold on. So that was, Bear kept crying, probably because I was saying Scooby's name, so I'm going to try not to say his name anymore. So he just cried again when I said it. So I was lucky enough to get a copy. This was a whole story too. If you guys don't know the story, I won't bore you with the whole thing with Lady of the Flag, and it was re-released, and it was supposed to come out like the end of January, and then people weren't getting it for months and whatever. Anyhow, I ordered it through a store that I had never heard of. They don't have a storefront. And I said, you know what, I'm going to pay with PayPal, and it was an invoice, and I'm protected if something happens. So I ordered the pattern, I ordered the bead kit. Well, I don't even know when it was, but it was a couple weeks after other people's were already shipping. I reached out. I'm like, hey, did you get them? Like, I don't care if you don't ship it for 2 months, but did you get it at least? Can you just confirm like you have it? And crickets. And then after like a week, she sent me a message and said, check your PayPal. And she had just refunded my PayPal. And in the PayPal memo, it said they didn't get their order fulfilled. And I heard about some shops not getting their orders fulfilled. And I have a feeling probably because she probably didn't have like a very big account or something like that. So anyhow, I was really disappointed. And I'm like, darn. Okay, well, I kind of just wanted it because of FOMO, and I know that if I ever wanted to stitch it down the road, like, I'm not paying $300 for this. I think it was $25. So I'm not paying $300 for this on eBay. I don't have the need to stitch anything at a $300 pattern. And if you do, fantastic for you. Like, you do you. I'm not judging. I'm just saying for me, not a chance. So anyhow, I went onto Fat Quarter Shop's website one day, and I was going to buy fabric that I didn't need, and I just looked under the What's New page, and guess what popped up? This and this. And if you know me, I am not a pay for shipping gal. If they have a minimum order for free shipping, I am gonna make sure that I hit that minimum order because I'm not paying shipping. Well, let me tell you, I threw these in my cart and I checked out so fast, I didn't care what the shipping charge was. And I could not believe it. I was yelling at my husband, I think I got them. I think I got them. So when they actually came, I was like, wow, they really came. They're real. Not that Fat Quarter Shop is the last place I would think would sell ones that weren't real, but they yeah, they are real patterns. So I got excited. And I said, you know what, I'm going to stitch this one. I am. Everybody's talking about it right now. It was exciting. I'm going to stitch it. You guys know where this is going because I should have led with this. So Tammy did the same thing. She got hers, but she only had to order hers once. So she got hers, and she got it, and hers was nice and simple, and she ordered, she got it, end of story. Well, then I didn't know what fabric I wanted to do it on. So I ordered the Constitution fabric. And then that came, and I said, I don't know, this is really small. I don't know that I want to do that. So I ordered like 2 other fabrics. Well, one of those, weeks go by, 2 weeks, and it's not shipped. And I messaged them, and this was like a shop that I've heard of before, but I've never ordered from. And so I email them, and it says to call. So I call, but they're only open like 3 days a week, like Friday, Saturday or something. I don't know. So then you call, and it would say like that their line can't accept calls. And I'm like, what is going on? So I finally, I called, and then she texted me, even though it said that the call couldn't go through. And she was like, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you. And I'm like, okay. And so she called, and I was like, I'm just checking on this order. Because again, it's been 2 weeks since I placed it. No idea what's going on. I'm not in a hurry. I just want to make sure that I'm like within my refund on my credit card frame, right? But it was like crickets. And so she said, oh yeah, well, you wanted a piece that was too big because we don't have any that are cut that big. So I'm going to ask the guy if he can give me a big piece. And I said, okay, no problem. Like, when will you let me know? And she's like, oh, I'll let you know on Monday. So like I let a whole other week go by. Crickets, nothing. So then I reached back out again. I'm like, hey, that fabric, like I want to start it. So like, that fabric. And she's like, um, she didn't even respond. She just refunded. Didn't even say like he can't get it, nothing, just like refund. And I was like, okay, well, you're on my list of places to not. I didn't care. I'm not in a rush at all. But I don't like when you just hear like nothing. Like they don't have a YouTube. They didn't like send out an email like, hey, we're behind. They were not one of the shops that was having problems. Like this was, I really think, just like, yeah, we forgot, whatever. Anyhow, I end up saying, okay, I'm going to do it on the Constitution fabric that I ordered. But that stitch, that count, I forget what that count was. Well, then I saw 1, 2, 3 stitch had it, and I hurried up and I ordered it. I ordered 2. I ordered 2 of them because that's how I roll. So I don't stitch in a frame. I stitch in hand. I had to put this in a scroll frame because the stitches looked so much better. I may be a scroll frame gal from now on bigger pieces because I was really, really, really enjoying it. And also it has a lot of beads, and I didn't want to do the beads in hand, but I decided I'm going to do the beads at the end anyhow. So I'm going to show you this. And I was so excited. Oh, wait. No, there's more. So there's color conversions for this. So Tammy said, hey, there's a Facebook group about the Lady of the Flag. So this is called Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. And she said, have you seen the color conversions? And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, I haven't seen the color conversions. So then that opened a whole other door. I already had the thread kit. So I had the thread kit. I had all the beads. So I go on there and yeah, people have done this in her dress in so many different colors. They change her hair color, they change the dress color, they change the fabric that it's on. So I ended up saying, okay, I'm gonna do it in this aqua, and it kind of looked like she kind of looked like the Statue of Liberty then. So then I had to go get all those threads. Well, Tammy and I went to a couple cross stitch shops one day, and we were able to get almost everything that we needed. And she's doing the same thing that I'm doing at this point. Like, she's bought multiple fabrics. I've bought multiple fabrics. We've bought different floss for it. So both of us were like, oh, by the time we frame this, this is like our $1,500 project, right? Like we had to buy bigger scroll frames. We just had so much involved in this project, and we were just like, this is going to be the never-ending project as far as the budget goes. So I was so excited. Every night I was really looking forward to stitching on this. And I don't normally stitch on linen, and I don't normally stitch on a scroll frame. And I was just so excited. So I was rocking and rolling, and I got this done. Okay, so now you know where this is going to go. I had my cross stitch area two like IKEA carts over there, and I would keep my cross stitch stuff in there and some like Bible journaling stuff, and those were my carts over in the corner. And I kept saying, you know what, even though the carts were nice and organized, like it just kind of looked messy in my living room. So this Monday I went to a furniture store where I bought a lot of furniture, and I was looking for a cabinet to put over there, and I found the perfect cabinet. And I'm like, that thing is perfect. It's nice and high, because I wanted to be able to take this on the scroll frame and just set it up on top, and that way none of the dogs could run into it. My other dogs don't ever touch anything that doesn't belong to them. But I was like, you know, I just don't want Scooby to grab it, even though he doesn't really do that stuff anymore. Like, I don't want anything to happen to it. But I said, I didn't really like the price tag that was on it. It's solid wood, really nice piece of furniture. I've bought quality stuff from them before. But I really couldn't justify spending that money on a cabinet to keep my cross stitch stuff in, because I have two other cabinets that I keep my cross stitch stuff in. So I said, no, I'm going to look for something, you know, maybe half that price, a quarter of the price. That was on Monday. On Wednesday, I went to one of my sewing events, and my husband sends me a text about an hour after I had left, and he said, you're going to kill him. So this was out of the scroll frame. It was on the chair. It has teeth marks in it. Do you see them? Do you see the teeth marks? My floss was everywhere. And surprisingly, I only lost like 2 skeins of floss in all that mess. I mean, but he just took it and just spread it across the living room. And I wanted to cry. I did. I wanted to cry because my husband didn't hear him because he was working. So it's no one's fault. I should have put him in his crate. He's been left out for months for a couple hours at a time and has had absolutely no problem. I don't know what his deal was that morning, but yeah. So this is ruined because of those holes. I cannot, I can't spray this. If I spray it with water, the writing will come off. So I can't spray it because I thought, well, maybe if I spray it and kind of work those threads, because it's linen, you know, but I have pushed them and moved them around, and this piece is just too big and too much money invested in it to continue on like this, especially because I'm going to have it framed, and that's probably going to be $200 or $300 to have it framed. Like, I just can't do it with those holes in there. So I'm going to hang on to it in case somebody gives me some, you know, miracle that I can try. But again, I can't spray it. I can't spray water. I can't spray starch. I can't do any of that. I think that would help, but I can't. So I'm going to keep it like this. But now I know why I bought 2 of these. I bought 2 in case I wanted to do the other one on it, and which I won't. I will end up doing that on a different fabric, but probably the Pledge of Allegiance. But I do have another piece of this. I can start it again, but I said, you know what? I was feeling very excited to do this. Like, when I woke up in the morning, I wanted to go do it. When I sat down at night, like I wanted to sit down at night in order to do it. but I was feeling a little overwhelmed because I wasn't really working on anything else. And so I said, you know what? I wasn't mad. I can't be mad at the dog. Like by the time I got home, it was over. Like you can't do anything at that point, you know. I was sad, yeah, but it is what it is. There are worse things going on in the world than this. So I said, you know what? Maybe this was God telling me step away from this and focus on some other stuff. And I did feel, even though I was sad, like I did feel like this little weight off my shoulder from not having that to work on every day. So that is my Lady of the Flag story. And sorry, because that was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. But things happen. So let's talk about what I kidded when I did my Wipgo board all over again that day when hey, did you guys see my shirt? Because if you did see my shirt, then you'll understand. See? Undiagnosed, but something ain't right. And that's me. I bet that's a lot of you too. You know it. Come on. So I kitted up a bunch of this stuff, and I have threads on order because when I was getting all this ready last night, I said, oh, some of them I'm missing the threads for. So I got this bag. I know, I'm like the hairdresser. You know the hairdresser that always has terrible hair because she doesn't have time to do her own hair because she's always doing everybody else's hair? That's me with project bags. Like I take the duds, the ones that I can't sell, and then I throw them in like other bags. I still have the tag on there. But this is Lori Holt's Berry and Sage line, and I thought this bag was so cute, and it's nice. Like it's really, really thick. So I picked this up at a Shop Hop, and I think it was 30% off, so I couldn't say no. So I put the Plum Street sampler, the Pledge of Allegiance. I really want to start this one. I actually was itching to start this one like immediately, but I have, when I was putting this all together last night, I just put all the threads in my cart on order from 123 Stitch. So those will be coming this week because they ship like lightning fast. So that one I kitted. I'm just looking for a place to put them. This one, and I think I'm going to finish a couple more whips. Initially, I had told myself for every 3 whips that I finish, I can start one new project, but I'll still allow myself that, but I may not do it. But we'll see. I won't start anything more than that. Now this one, there was a lot of drama over this one too. And I got it because I have FOMO. That's how I ended up with Lady of the Flag. That's how I've ended up with a lot of this stuff. But this was a Plum Street sampler pattern. So this you can only get at Attic. It's not called The Attic. It's called Attic. I'm pretty sure. And so they have exclusive, because I guess it was at a retreat it was released with them, and so they have the exclusive release of this at this point. I don't know if anybody else is ever going to get it down the road, but for now you can only get it with them. So this is, I copied it one page, like just one. It's not front and back, and I mean it's like a lot of pages, but it's also on thick paper because I always have a working copy. But anyhow, I got this and I got the thread pack, and I guess they were so overwhelmed with orders. This was back in January. They were so overwhelmed. They did not expect that response. And then you know how it is, like getting the threads. They've had a hard time getting everything up to speed with them, and so they were like delayed shipping things out. But she kept coming on FlossTube and saying, like, please be patient with us. Like, there was some communication there, you know? And I'm like, I don't care when I get it because I'm not starting it anytime soon. But I felt so bad for her. Like, some people were not very nice about it. And I get it. You pay for stuff. You want stuff. But that was an overwhelming response. And I'm glad that I have it. I got the thread pack with it. I have no plans on starting this one, but I decided, hey, I had it there all kitted already. I just added my fabric to it, and this is Switchel 28 count linen dense fog that I'm going to stitch it on because I was pulling from my stash. But I said with the Wipgo board, I said, well, I have it all sitting right here, the pattern, the thread. Here, I'll throw some linen in there and I'll start it if that number gets called. And I had no plans to actually start it if it weren't on the Wipgo board. So, because it's big, but I put it in this folio that I made. I made quite a few of these, and I think they're all sold out now. They were in my Etsy shop, but I'm pretty sure that they're all sold out. I had them in red and in blue. So that was that. And then this one also, this one I thought was super cute. I'm pretty sure this one was a Nashville release. I'm not even going to show you everything that I bought in the Nashville releases because it's already put away, because that was like so long ago. It feels like last year already. And you guys have already seen everything by now because it's been out for so long and I've been procrastinating on making this video. So I'm not going to show you those, but this was another one that I kitted up. And I think this might have been a Nashville release. I'm not positive. I love Teresa Kogut. I don't know if I mentioned before, but I had taken a painting class with her on Facebook during COVID. She did some painting classes, and she is just so fun and just such a genuine person. And I'm not a painter, and I cannot paint, and I have 2 big canvas pieces that I'm not ashamed to have hanging in my house because of her classes. And she would do a Facebook Live, and then we would paint along. If we had questions, we would just type them in the chat. But it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. I wish she would do it again, but she's too busy to do that stuff. So I'm sure she's not. I haven't seen anything that she's doing any classes like that again. This, I'm pretty sure, was another market release, Red, White, and Bloom by Brenda Gervais. And I put this one in a Lori Holt project bag that I made. So you can buy these Lori Holt bags. It comes in a panel, and you cut the panel apart, and then you sew the bags together. And I have a ton of these because I bought a bunch of panels. I had a couple panels, and then I bought a bunch of panels during the shop hops that Tammy and I went to. So I have a whole stack of them here. I have a couple already made. I've got an entire stack of them sitting here. Let me show you. I have them in 2 different sizes, but I have them sitting here to make. So you cut them apart. You know, it'll be printed on one big piece of fabric, and then you cut it apart, and you cut the zipper line. You see the little zipper there. And then you sew everything together and you make it into a bag. So that's the small bag, which is a really cute little bag, especially if you wanted to keep it like in your big purse and keep like toiletry items or medicines or something like that. It's a nice little size. So then this one I thought was really cute too. This was a market release, Strength and Laughter by Plum Street. We went to the needlework store in Ocala, Florida, on our way up to Georgia, and I think they came back from market on Tuesday or Wednesday, and so like a lot of the shops were having like a big market release party that weekend, and so we were like, oh, we're not gonna, it's probably about a 2-hour drive from us, so because we're in the Tampa area, and we were like, oh, they're not going to have the market release stuff out. Like, they just got back on Tuesday. And when we got up there on Thursday morning, they had the market release stuff out. And we were so excited. They had, like, new fabrics. And I didn't buy any fabrics that day, but I did get a couple patterns from them. So it was nice to be able to be in the store that soon afterwards. And I had some pre-orders that I did online, too. This was probably the one that I was most excited about, Amazing Grace. And so I do want to start this one. If I start anything, a new start, it's going to be Amazing Grace. I have a couple threads that are on order, and I did get another one of those Lori Holt bags. I really, really like that. Here's another Lori Holt bag. Isn't that cute? So I bought multiple panels, so I have multiple bags. And this one I kitted was One Flag, One Land. by Brenda Gervais. I put a little post-it note, like when I ordered the floss, I put a little post-it note on there so that then I can, then I know they're on order. And then I think this is my last one that I kitted. Yeah, and this is not a new pattern. This is an older pattern, but I've always liked this. And I thought it was okay looking at it like this, but I've seen it on FlossTube. It is huge. Not only is it huge, but it just looks, you guys know how it is. Like, they look so much better. That's why we watch FlossTube, right? So we can see what everybody else is working on. And then when you see it, like, actually on the camera instead of printed on a pattern, they look amazing. Okay. I don't know how long I've been rambling, but I think it's a long time. So the other one that I started during Wipgo that I was advantageous about was this. So this is a Nora Corbett, and I've never stitched these before, but you know, hey, throw that Mirabilia at me at Lady of the Flag, and then I'm like, well, let's go down this path. But what happened was we went to a cross-stitch needlepoint store near Orlando. I forget the name of the town. Anyway, it's out that way somewhere. And they had that pattern on a purple fabric. And I just kept looking at it and looking at it. And again, I was like, where am I going to put that in my house? That doesn't fit, but I love Halloween. I don't even decorate for Halloween anymore, but I just love Halloween. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I bought this purple fabric, and I said, okay. A couple of days later, I was like, I gotta get it. So I did. I ordered it. But it was because I had seen it in that store on purple. Again, this, it's like, yeah, that's cool. You see it in person. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that's that. Now, I have a couple embroidery. Oh, you know what? No, let me show you this. So we went on a cruise. We got back last Saturday. So these were my cruise projects that I took. I took this little primrose cottage. I think it's called Land of Liberty. I can't show you the picture because I don't have the picture. I only brought the little pattern with me. And it just says Liberty has a little house on the other side. So I'll probably make that into a little pillow. This one was a little hard for me on the ship because I don't know what count that is, but it's small. So I had to have, you know, really, really good lighting, which where we sat a lot to stitch and read did have good lighting, but if it was in the evening, I couldn't stitch on this one. This is the small Lori Holt bag in the panel. So see, it's just a tiny little bag, and that fits that tiny little project perfectly. You don't always need a giant bag. Here's another one. This is a small bag. And this one, oh, this one I didn't start yet, but I kitted up, and this is the Peonies by Hands On Design. Liberty, sorry, not Peonies, it's Liberty Pennies. I don't have a picture. It's just like, because I wanted it to fit in this bag. So, and honestly, I'm kind of embarrassed to even show you. That's all that I did on it. I was having fun cruising. So we went to Dominican Republic. We went to San Juan. Oh, we love San Juan. Best food. Like, we could just stay there and eat all week. And we went to St. Kitts. So St. Kitts we've never been to before. So that was fun. So we had a great time. But I felt like the night before the cruise, I was starting to overpack my projects. Not clothes. I don't care if I run out of clothes. I care if I'm stuck on a ship for the rest of my life with no way of getting off and I die of boredom. So I start to overpack my craft projects. And then I said, no, I'm done. I ended up putting everything back. I was so proud of myself. And I said, I'm just going to bring the quilted scarecrow. I did this quilt. I made this quilt maybe 2 years ago. And I decided I was going to do the cross stitch pattern too. So I brought this, and this was so nice to work on the ship because the fabric I love I love stitching on this. This is one of the Lori Holt fabrics. I think it's a Lugana. 28 count, which is my favorite to stitch on, but I can just stitch so easily. There's no strain on my eyes. You know, I can see the holes. So that's how far I am. I did the rake. I had like the little spikes of the rake done. So I did the rest of the rake. I did the handkerchief and those leaves down there and the handle. So I didn't get a ton done, but I was on vacation. So we would just sit up in this deck. If you've ever been on Celebrity on their Edge class ships, they have Eden, Garden of Eden. And Eden is all glass in the back of the ship. So we sit back there and have great lighting, and really there's like nobody back there. In some of the other ships, they have the observation decks, and then you're in the front of the ship. But the Edge class ships don't have those observation areas. They like common areas. They have it in the back. So I worked on that. So I'm glad that I put a little dent in that. And now, well, let me show you. I just have 2 embroidery projects real quick, and then I'm going to show you the project bags. So if that's what you came for, you will get to see that momentarily. So this is an embroidery project that I started working on. This is Crabtree Hill Designs. They are retired, so their designs are hard to find now. But a friend of mine made, a lady that I sew with, she made this quilt, and she stitched, as she said, she took these on cruises with her for a couple years, and she would only work on them on cruises. So there are a bunch of these blocks, and then when you're done, you put them together into a quilt. So this is very mindless work to do because the pattern is on here. You just bring your black floss and you stitch. So this is very nice to do if I know I'm not going to be able to concentrate, if I'm not going to have a lot of work. So I started on this, and you just backstitch. It's super, super simple. You just trace your design onto there, onto that piece of fabric. So this I just got the other day. I thought this was really, really cute. If you have seen this, you may not have, because I really haven't seen it all around yet. That's really strong Velcro. Look at that. Okay, this is from Missouri Star Quilt Company, and look at that. I have chickens, but I just like the farm theme. I love the colors of that fabric. So the fabric is on order. It should be here soon. I'm not ready for the fabric yet. I don't even have the squares cut out or anything else, so I'm in no hurry. But in this little folio, so you get this kit, and it doesn't have any fabric. You have to order that separately. But you get the templates for the chickens and their accessories. There's a little pair of scissors. There's a hoop. There's some thread. It's not DMC, but it'll be fine. I have a ton of other thread too that I can use for embroidery. Oh, where did it? Oh, there it is. I want to show you the needle minder. The needle minder is so cute. Look at the little needle minder. Oh, look at the little needle minder. Isn't he cute? So I got a new chicken coop the other day. My son built it for me. And I don't know what happened, but we went to Tractor Supply and got the chicken coop. I don't know. I guess when I wasn't looking, somebody put a box of chicks in the truck. I don't know how that happened. So we got a couple new chicks. Anyhow, this is a cutout design for the chickens. So you take your, sorry, I didn't even realize it was in plastic. All of you with headphones in right now hate me. Well, you probably hate me because you've been listening to me ramble for an hour and a half in your ear. But you take these pieces, they have like a, I don't know, it's like an iron-on backing, and it's a little bit stiffer on the front. And so you cut out your legs, your arms, whatever, your flowers, and you make your little chicken and embroider it, and I just thought they were so stinking cute. And it came in such a nice little case, so I'm not starting that anytime soon. I did order that same fabric, so I'm gonna make mine just like this. They have 3 patterns in here. One here, you could do just a pillow, and you could do a runner, and then of course you can just do whatever you want to do. So that is super cute. Okay, do you want to see the project bag? Oh, no, I have one more embroidery. Sorry, there's one more little embroidery. So this is another Missouri Star Quilt Company. This is a flag embroidery, and this is for the 250th birthday. And so I ordered this one day with my, this is probably like back in January. I may have showed you guys this, but I ordered this, I just threw it in like on one of my other orders, and when I ordered it and I got it, and I said, whoa, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be. And so the object of this is, you know, there are 250 stars on here. And so you do a star a day. Or no, sorry, not 250, 365 stars on here. So you do a star a day, and at the end of the year, not even stars, they're flowers. Get it together, girlfriend. So you do one a day, and then, you know, at the end of the year, it's done. And then it's not overwhelming. But the problem is I don't even think I've had January's done. So I just need to get back to doing that. I do like that because it allows you to try out new embroidery stitches and not be like completely committed to them. So if you're new to embroidery, that's a really nice project because you can just do different stitches, and if you didn't like that one, just don't do it again on another star. But I keep that in this little travel bag that I made. I've made a bunch of these. I have some pilot fabric. I was going to show you guys, I forgot to bring it, but I have some pilot fabric, and my oldest son is a airline pilot. And so I made him a travel bag like that, and his 2 of his friends, they're pilots also, and I made them travel bags like that. And so they thought that they were really cool. I forget what they call them, some kind of like maps and stuff, and it's just really cool fabric. So they thought they were cool. And to see, you know, these young men get excited about something that I made, that's totally cool. All right, let's go to the project bags. But that way, for those of you who have suffered this long and just want to see the project bags, you can get out of here shortly. I do want to show you this, though. Tammy said to me when we were going to the retreat, she said, hey, I really need a bag to put my scroll frame in. And I said, I got you. And so the next morning, I was seeing her the next morning, so I brought her a big bag like this. I think hers might be blue. But I was like, hey, you know what? That's actually a pretty cool idea. I'm going to make one for myself. So I did, and these are for the scroll frames that we put our Lady of the Flag in, because we both took them to the retreat, packaged them all up, and we said, yeah, no, we can't work on this here. I can't talk and do that at the same time. But anywho, fully lined, it's quilted, and the scroll frames are in there, and I put a drawstring up on the top. So if this is something that you guys, I didn't know how many people actually travel with their cross stitch, especially their big ones. But I guess if you're going on vacation or you have a summer house or whatever, if that's something that you guys would be interested in, let me know, because I was thinking about making a couple and putting them in my shop, because it is important to protect your stuff if you're going to be traveling with it. So let's talk about project bags and folios. I will be listing these today. I'm going to be listing my folios in my Etsy shop. I'm going to show you while I'm talking. The Lori Holt bags, I'll be listing these throughout the week. I have a couple that are made, so I will be listing the ones that are made today, hopefully. And then the rest I will be listing as I complete them. So again, they are fully lined. All of my bags are fully lined. These are so much fun. I love these. Okay. Now, the folios, I have some small ones on my Etsy shop. You can see I'm not going to open all of these right now because we'll be here forever. But you have a zipper, you have the clear pocket, so you can put your pattern under there, okay? And then you have a pocket back here, so that's where I keep my actual project, my cloth. And then you have back here, you can keep whatever you want back there. So this is the medium size, and I have a couple in medium. So this one I still have in medium. I don't think I have any in large. I haven't listed these, that's why I still have them. So I will be listing them today. And in my listing, you'll be able to see the insides of all of them, and I do a little video to show you, you know, the pockets in the back there. And then that's a medium size also. Okay, now for the large ones. I have some everyday ones. So the large folios, you can put in your 8.5 by 11, your full page pattern can fit in there. That's why I designed this like this. I don't have a pattern for this. This was me taking a lot of different ones that I had seen and saying, I like that, I like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, tweaking things, and I've done probably 10 different styles to get to this, and this is the one that I really like because I like to be able to have it open on my lap and the pattern in there if I want to, and keep the pattern protected, because if I go to the beach, it's not going to blow away, it's not going to get sand on it. I just like having it protected. If you have a drink next to you and you happen to spill your drink, you didn't spill it on your pattern. So I really like having that full pattern there, being able to see it in full view, and that's why I designed these the way that I did. And they're nice and cushioned. You know, they are vinyl in there, so you do have to be careful about like scissors poking through. I would not store scissors in there without scissor tips on them. So this is another one of the one that I ended up keeping because I put the snap on way too low. So, oh, that one's just got some wrinkles on it. Sometimes they get wrinkles on the front like that, but then after you use them and stuff, it all starts to blend in. So I'll hit that one with the iron. It's just the material underneath has an adhesive to it, so maybe the adhesive just didn't get hit there, and I couldn't even see that. You can't even see it like that, but then when I turn it and it hits the light, so I'll hit that with the iron. But after you know, after you start using it and stuff, you kind of break it in. I thought this one was so cute. Let me show you so like there's the inside of that one, but I thought this one was so cute with all the town scenery and stuff. I did a lot of patriotic because I know a lot of you guys are stitching the patriotic stuff, but I also had some requests for some like everyday ones, and I have a lot more coming. I just need a lot more hours during the day. So again, you'll be able to see all the insides on those in my Etsy shop. Now, this is my big announcement here, is that I've been doing those folios for a little while now, but I've been doing project bags like this for a couple years. Probably 6 years I've been doing project bags, patchwork bags, and project bags like this. And you guys have all seen this style before. So what I decided to do was I stopped making these for a little while because I was making the folios. So I am going to start making these again also. So in addition to the folios, I'm gonna start restocking these. But what I'm gonna do is, I know there are a lot of people that make these bags, so I'm gonna do pre-orders on these because I don't know if you guys have enough of these. Like, they've been around for a long time, so I don't know if you guys really want project bags like this anymore. So I'm gonna do pre-orders, but I'm gonna put the pre-orders for these on my website, okay? So my website is rusticberryneedleworks.com, okay? So hang on one second. Let's see. Okay, so let me show you so you can see it. rusticberryneedleworks.com, and I will put a link down in the description. You can also go on my Instagram, and the link will be there, but just so you can see my logo, like, then you'll know that it's me, Rustic Berry Needleworks. I'm going to do a pre-order. It is the end of April. So I will start shipping these next week. So the first week in May, I will start shipping them as I'm making them. And what I'm going to do with these, I have this one and I have another one, but this is the Berry and Sage fabric line by Lori Holt. And so you will get a bag from this line, okay? So it will be, any of these fabrics are going to be on your top, back, inside. They might match, they might not. They're going to be from this line. They're fully lined. So maybe this pink piece is this fabric on yours, and maybe the backing is this fabric on yours. Okay, this one, I did match all of them, but they may not match. They're going to be, as I make them, they're going to be random. So if you're not a random person, this is probably not going to be a good thing for you. But all of the fabrics will come from this fabric line, okay? So all of these, you just don't know. Is it going to be teal? Is it going to be more white? Is it going to be more pink, more red? All right, so I will start shipping these next week, but depending on the amount that I can make, it might be into the middle of May until I ship yours if you're at the end of the ordering limit there. So these will be on my website. Now, let me just grab the other one, because the other one I'm going to have a couple to do of those. I only have the front done on it so far, but this is another fabric line that will be available. I won't have nearly as many of these as I will of that bag, but this one will get listed hopefully today also for pre-orders. If not, check tomorrow, because I have to actually make this bag first. But this will be another line. I absolutely love this line. This line is so, so, so pretty. So that will be on my website also. The Folios and the Lori Holt bags I'm going to throw in my Etsy shop. Eventually, I'm going to move everything over to my website, but right now, I just don't have the time to do all that. So, okay, so that's it for cross stitch. If you want to hang out, I'm going to talk about quilting for not nearly as long, but if that's all that you're here for, thank you, because you were here for a long time. So I appreciate you watching. If you want to like me, follow me over on Instagram, Rustic Berry Needleworks, on Facebook, Rustic Berry Needleworks. I don't do much on Facebook. I'm much more active on Instagram. And if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. I want to start doing some giveaways of some project bags that I can't sell. If we can get some more subscribers, maybe I'll do like a milestone giveaway there. So let's talk about a couple quilts. Again, I don't have that much to show you. I have some videos of the quilts that I quilted, and I'm debating on kind of putting them together, because I talked about each one and the long arming process and stuff. And I might put all those little short clips together and make it into a video. So if you are interested in, the long arming part of what I do, you can see that and learn some stuff and take a look at some quilts. So for this month, this quilt that I have right here on my bar, this is what I'm starting to put together. This is called Shine On, and this is a Riley Blake kit. And I thought this would be a cute one to get done this year, patriotic, but it's like a pale patriotic, and I really like more of the colonial patriotic. So but I did that. I got that because when we were at Missouri Star, my friend Kim had it in her hand. She was walking around the store, and I'm like, I'm not getting that. And then all of a sudden Christine had it in her hand and she's walking around the store, and then here I am over there, just me and my little FOMO. My FOMO was like, hey, I think you need that. And I'm like, I don't think I need it. I think you need it because when they start sewing it, you're going to feel left out. And I'm like, okay, fine, I need it. And so I got it. And so here we are. So I need to get that done. I might work on that this week. I have a little quilting retreat that I'm going to for a couple of days with some friends. It's at a friend's house. So I might take that with me. And if I do, I can probably get it done because it's all cut. I just have to sew it all together. So I'm going to be working on that. And then I am, let me scooch here. So let me show you my bag. I needed a new bag. This is a noodle head pattern. If you are not a bag maker, but you'd like to be a bag maker, noodle head patterns are so easy. I made this in a couple hours. I had some leather that I got, or suede, sorry, that I got at Tandy Leather, and I got it at a really, really good price. So I wanted to use some of it up. I barely made a dent in it, but I love this bag. It's the perfect size. I've got pockets inside. I've got a zipper out here, the slip pocket back here. Inside, I put interior pockets in there. But it's a great size because I can throw my wallet in there, and then if I'm just running in somewhere, I can just grab my wallet, my crossbody wallet out of it, but I can still have everything that I need in there. The fabric I threw on my long arm and I crosshatch quilted it, and that was a Lori Holt fabric. It's called a cheater cloth because it looks like it's quilted, but it's not quilted, but those crosshatch lines, they are quilted. So I was happy to give myself a couple hours to get that done, but it's called the Redwood Tote by Noodlehead. So on my agenda for April is another one of these door hangers. Riley Blake did a monthly door hanger. I did not buy all of them. I did not join the club, and I'm so glad that I didn't because I didn't like some of them that came out. Like September, they had pencils. Again, I don't decorate for school. I wouldn't want that. So I didn't join the club, and I ended up getting these kits. I think almost all of the ones that I got were 50% off, or at least like 40% off. So for May, I have this one on my list. And these don't, if I could just get some time, I could do these in an afternoon. They don't take long. So those two are on my list. I do have the tulips completely cut out. So maybe I'll take that to the retreat so I can just knock that out. The other thing that's on my list, and I haven't even touched it, I really haven't, is Mercantile, which I absolutely adore. This is Lori Holt fabric. I love this quilt. I don't have, oh, maybe I do have a picture of the pattern. So you cut this down into a circle and then you mount it onto these and applique it on. And I have a couple of the blocks done. I've shown you guys in another video. I haven't touched it since. And I really, really love this quilt. So here is a picture of it up there in the corner. I just love it so much. Oh, here's a better picture. I just really wish that I could find some time to sit down and do it because I absolutely love it. This is a quilt that like I need to be just locked away somewhere with no interruptions, and then I could knock it out. I also finished the Prim cross stitch. I have that quilt and I finished it, and I think I put a picture on my Instagram. It's already hanging, so I can't pull it down and show you, but if I don't have it on my Instagram, I'll throw a picture on my Instagram today so that you can see it if you're interested in that. So that's all that I have for quilts. I have my niece is having a baby, and I'm going up for the baby shower in June, and I have about 10 different things I want to sew for her between baby books and quilts, and I really need to get a move on that. So I'm excited about that. I'll probably talk more about that in the next one just because we are already way overboard here. The books I wanted to tell you, so I read Lloyd McNeil's Last Ride. I did that one on audio. That was a really funny book. Funny in a dark humor kind of way. And then The Best Way to Bury Your Husband. That was a funny audio book. A lot of holes in it. You could totally see like, well, that wouldn't work, but it's light, I guess, but not, but humorous. So that was very enjoyable. And then I started reading this one on the cruise, Mitch Albom, twice. I love Mitch Albom. His books are not big. They usually go pretty quick, but as you can see, I didn't get very far. So hopefully I'm going to finish this one. I'd like to finish it for April, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we'll see, but it's a good book. I just love anything that he writes. So on the cruise, real quick, I do journaling. I make junk journals, and I do have these in my Etsy shop, and I have a ton more to make. They're all like ready. I just have to put the paper in them and stuff. And so what I do is every day I will write, you know, like I'll write stuff about the cruise and stuff like that, and then glue this stuff in there, but I'll journal in there every day and then add photos and leave myself room for photos. And then I come home and print the photos out. And then I will cut them up and put them in here. So instead of making, if you're a paper crafter or scrapbooker, you know, you probably made those traditional 12 by 12 books, and I have a bunch of those, and I'm over them. So I like making mini albums, but I really, really enjoy just taking this on the cruise with me or on any vacation that we go. And then when I come home, I have one book for that vacation. And I like it because even, you know, we just started cruising 2 years ago, and I just went on my 9th cruise. And I pulled it out because my husband had a question about one of the ports, and I said, I don't remember. And so I pulled this out and I started reading, and I said, I completely forgot we even did that. Or I completely forgot about this or that. And it's so funny how fast we forget things. And so I really, really enjoy this. And I hope that maybe one day when I'm not here anymore, my kids, my grandkids, somebody, I tell my husband, I said, if I'm ever in a position where I can't read to myself, I said, will you just pull these out every now and then and read them to me, you know, just so I can remember those times that we had. And so I really, really like that. They take up a lot less space. You know, I feel like I can be in the moment, but then when we get back to our room or we're having coffee or whatever, I'll just jot down what we were doing for the day. So I enjoy that. Now, even though I'm not doing 12 by 12 traditional albums anymore, I haven't touched paper crafts in forever other than doing those journals. Well, my friend Tammy, you see the common denominator here? She seems to be in a lot of my stories with things that I'm buying that I don't need. So the other day she asked me if I wanted to go to lunch with some of the ladies that were at the retreat. They were down here in our area. They live up in Tennessee. And they were down here, and she said, do you want to go to lunch? And we're going to go to one of the scrapbook shops. And Tammy's not really doing paper crafts either. And I said, all right. So we went up there, and I was so close. I was this close to walking out of the store and not buying a thing. And then this caught my eye. So let me show you this one first. So this caught my eye. Look at this. Look at this fabric. Look at this paper. I'm not going to show you all of them. But this whole paper line from 49 in Market, it is called a Joanne Bain collection, The Looking Glass. These papers, I love 49 in Market. And I mean, these papers are just, look how many. They didn't have any of the packs. Sometimes they'll do packs where they have like 2 pieces of each. So they didn't have any of those. So I just bought 4 of each. And my niece that's pregnant absolutely adores the things that I make, and she wants to get into junk journaling and scrapbooking and stuff. So I'm going to make her an album. I got some basic colors too. I got some stickers for it, or washi tape, and some cutouts, and it's just going to be so much fun to do. So I'm itching now. I'm itching to do paper crafts again. But I've taken over my paper craft stuff with fabric, so I don't even have like a clear space to do it on anymore. So as I'm taking all of that out of the racks, they're on the floor, and I'm sitting on the floor and pulling all of those out. There's a collection next to it in the very next rack, and it's like, psst, hey Danielle. And I was like, no, I don't need anything. And it, psst, hey, take me home. I need a home. I need a new home. And so, because I couldn't say no, I brought this collection home too. And this is by Simple Stories, and it's bees and lavender. Just throw bees and lavender on something and I will buy it. So I'm gonna do a little mini album out of this in 75 years when I have some free time. Simple Vintage Lavender Fields by Simple Stories. Now I got stickers too, and you can also get, they have these like kits, so you can just whip up those pages in that kit, and it gives you a little, you know, so this is a nice project if you're going like to a retreat or something. And I bought a bunch of these Simple Stories somewhere at some point, and I took them to a retreat one time, and I just sat, and it was so nice to just sit and put everything together, and it was all in one spot. So I got those, and I got one of their paper packs that had more in it, more paper and stuff in there. So I'll make like a little mini album out of that. And yeah, so I've got the paper craft itch again, but unfortunately the itch didn't come with any additional time in the day. So I think that's it. I think you're all free. If you're still here, God bless you. That was a lot. That was a lot for you. I know it was. And I really appreciate you tuning in. I love to sit and stitch, or even when I'm sewing, I have somebody's floss tube on. I just love to hear what people are doing. I hope you get the same feeling when you watch me, to check out what I'm doing. And I know I'm all over the board and not just cross stitching. So I know a lot of you say, I'm not a quilter, but I still like seeing your quilts. So I really appreciate that. And if I can spark the interest in somebody to quilt or try something different, or, you know, just be introduced to something new that they find joy in, then my job here is done. But that's about everything that I've been working on. Other than gardening, my garden is going good right now. I'm not very active on my Instagram for my gardening, but if you want to check that out, it is Gardening with George. George is one of my German shepherds, and he eats everything in my garden. But if you want to check that out, you can follow me on there. My goal is always to post more, and I never post enough. So thank you so much again for joining me today, and I'm going to try really hard to get back here on a better schedule so that I don't keep you for over an hour. And hopefully I can do 20-30 minute videos going forward to keep on track of what we're doing, and we won't have so much time apart going forward. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon. Happy stitching.